Alright, order in the law office here. Let's get some order. Okay, so we are talking in this video about the subpoena, the motion to quash. What is it? Some people like to call this the motion to squash. While I love the name of it, I don't think the judge will. Judge may get a giggle out of it though, so you never know. But anyway, we are talking about FRCP Rule 45. This is federal court, motion to quash. And it deals with a subpoena. Okay, this pops up a lot in copyright law cases, BitTorrent defense cases. So we're going to head to the Attorney Steve litigation whiteboard. Okay, here we are. So let's back this up. Let's get in here where you can see some of these things that are going on here. Now my videos are geared toward that visual learner, the person that likes to see what's going on, see the landscape so they can understand things. So. But anyway, so here we're talking motion to quash, FRCP 45. That is the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. These are the rules that govern the procedures, things that happen in federal court. Now in state court, this is all out the window. They don't follow the FRCP, they're state civil rules of procedure. So this is if you're in a copyright case, and these are typically brought in a federal court. Okay, so if you're in a copyright case, you're going to be looking at this rule. Now what happens, what are we talking about? First of all, what is a subpoena? A subpoena is really, honestly, nothing more than a stack of papers, and you may have seen this on TV. You're served. You know, somebody just handing you this and saying, here, you're personally served. They're serving a subpoena. A subpoena is a command. It's from the court. The court is saying, you have to do this, okay? It's a subpoena. If you don't, what happens? Contempt of court. You could be fined, you could be put in jail. So a subpoena is a very important legal document that you need to take serious if you get one, okay? Best bet when you get a subpoena is to call a lawyer, okay? Because this will be difficult to figure out on your own, trust me. On other topics I say, you know, maybe there's some wiggle room, but subpoenas can be difficult to deal with because you have a party that's serving you this, demanding documents, demanding that you come testify. So, you know, these can be a real big thing, and probably the time when you say, I need a lawyer, I need a lawyer. So, anyway, so where they come up in these copyright cases, we handle a lot of these software audits with organizations like the BSA, the Software Alliance, and other companies like the SIIA. It's another trade group industry, does a lot of things with Adobe. The BSA does a lot of stuff with Microsoft. But you may have got there's other contexts where you may have got a copyright infringement notice or a notice from your ISP, that stands for your Internet Service Provider. They're the ones that hook you up with your computer, right? So when you go onto the internet, you're logging on. Usually you're going through your ISP, that's your service provider. They help you get access to the internet. So what we're talking about in this case, here's my computer user working on a nice fancy laptop or home PC, Macintosh, whatever, and they have the BitTorrent client downloaded. They have it downloaded on their device, okay? This is a tool that allows for what we call P2P, otherwise known as peer-to-peer file sharing. In other words, this person, if I can get my pink marker out here, this person could be sharing with this person, they share with that, they share with them, they share with them. Share, 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 share in what we call the swarm. Okay, you have the swarm of users sharing files and videos. Okay, this could be videos, software, computer games, comics, music, you name it. All kinds of things anything that can be digitized can be shared on the internet. Okay, that's big. I think a lot of us know that, maybe some of us don't. But where you have digitized content, you have down here the copyright holder. That's the person that created the content that you are now sharing in the swarm. Does that make sense? So they created it, they're the copyright holders. They may have registered the copyright, they may not have registered the copyright. But however, copyright is automatic in the United States when you create something original and fix it into a tangible form. That is giving you copyrights, okay? So you have the copyright holder, their stuff is being shared and they don't like it, okay? They say, why are you sharing our stuff in here through the swarm when you haven't paid it? You haven't paid us for it, okay? And what some of the lawyers tell me is, well, tell your clients to stop stealing. And I said, well, what do you mean? You know, they said, well, you wouldn't walk into a store and steal a music CD, would you? You wouldn't steal a movie off the shelf, would you? No. So why are they doing it here? They're sharing and somebody's downloading and uploading these things at all times. And so they're getting upset. They're filing these lawsuits, okay? Or they may be sending you what we call a love letter. You know, stop doing what you're doing, or a DMC takedown letter, or copyright infringement letter. You may get some notices from your ISP. You're on warning, stop doing this. So there's all kinds of things going down in this area. You have to be very careful with your kids. But back to our motion to quash. So what happens is the doe, I'm gonna call this the copyright holder, files their lawsuit, okay? Usually it's filed as a doe lawsuit because they don't know your name. They don't know who you are. What they typically have, if they're monitoring these streams for illegal downloads and illegal sharing, they would have what we call your IP address. IP address, that's Internet Protocol. That's just your address of where this computer is in the big digital universe of thing. Maybe like 165.02.005 or whatever, okay? But you have an IP. What they want is your name, so they can insert your name into the doe lawsuit. Take the doe out, put you in. Okay, so what they're doing is they're going to federal court, filing a lawsuit. They're then filing another motion. This is my lawsuit timeline down here. Then they're filing another motion for expedited discovery, telling the court, I need to do some expedited discovery so we can get this case going. Because there's nobody really there opposing it, normally you're going to find the judges are granting these, which is allowing this party, the copyright holder, the plaintiff, if you will, to then initiate the discovery process, one of those methods being serving a subpoena. So this video is about, well, what do? You get the subpoena, you say, well, wait a second, this isn't right, I want to file a motion to quash. Motion to quash, okay? And so you may be reading about this in other blogs. You may have said, you may say, I want to file a motion to quash to get rid of that subpoena, basically quash it, boom, null and void, no force and effect. So that may be what you're looking to do. Now, the important part of this video is under FRCP 45, and I've got a copy right here. You can print this out on the internet, just Google FRCP 45, or even better, to make it easy for you, go to my website, motiontoquash.net. That's the .net, I couldn't get the .com, sorry. motiontoquash.net, and I'll have all this information there for you with this video and with these printouts, okay? So under FRCP 45, there are grounds to quash. There are grounds to quash, and I'm gonna go over those real quick. We're gonna be in and we're gonna be out, okay? 1, flaws. There's technical requirements of FRCP 45. I'm gonna just read a couple. In general, every subpoena must state the court from which it is issued, so it must be the court must be on there. State the title of the action and its civil action number. These are things I would be challenging if they're not on there. It doesn't look like a normal subpoena. It looks like somebody printed something up and says subpoena. It's typewritten off their home computer. I would take a good look at it. State the title of the action and command each person to whom it is directed to do the following at a specified time and place, and that is attend and testify, produce documents, electronically stored information, so forth and so on, okay? So those are some of the technical things. So if it's missing one of those, that may be a ground for motion to quash to take a look at. There's other technical flaws dealing with geography. Now what they call, I believe, thinking back to law school, I think they called this the 100-mile bulge rule. I could be wrong, but I think it was called the 100-mile bulge. And that is when you start getting outside 100 miles of where the court is, you know, you start getting out there in distance-wise, and you may be getting too far out there. So if you file a case, let's say, in the Northern District of California, where a lot of the software companies are headquartered, or in the Central District of California, where a lot of the movie companies are, you know, this is the Dallas buyer. Well, I don't know that they're there, actually, I couldn't say that, but, you know, there's a lot of letters being sent for the Dallas Buyers Club. There's letters being sent for Now London Has Fallen, different things. So, you know, it's, you know, Malibu Media is filing lawsuits, a lot of lawsuits over illegally shared adult pornographic films. But if you go out over 100 miles, I'll read it, then the court may not enforce a subpoena. It says within 100 miles of where the person resides, is employed, or regularly transacts business in person, okay, or within the state the person resides, is employed or regularly transacts business in person if the person is a party or a party's officer or is commanded to attend a trial. It would not incur substantial expense. So the rules can get a little technical. As you can see, it's a lot of case law. I'll let you look up nice and close here. It's a lot of case law. This is pages and pages and pages of subpoena under Rule 45, okay? So, but I'm going to put that aside, and then there's just a couple other things. There's a couple other grounds that you could look at if the subpoena is overbroad or unduly burdensome, if it has no basis, no logical basis to anything, is some sort of total fishing expedition. You may be able to come, in some of the cases we heard with the music industry, when they were sending subpoenas around, they were going to brothers and sisters asking for copies of all their handhelds and whatnot. So I mean, at some point it gets overbroad, it gets unduly burdensome, so that's a ground to look at, okay? Again, not substantiated in some of these cases where they're claiming that they're monitoring the ISPs, the torrents, and they're saying, well, that must be him. And you say, well, I'm just a subscriber. I don't, I have kids over, or I have an unsecured wireless. The real person that may be sharing videos may be my next door neighbor. And so this is sort of not really substantiated, or it's not really based on anything. Those are things I know that have been tried. Privacy is another grounds. If you can come up with some legitimate privacy concern, you may have something. If you can come up with some legitimate trade secret concern, you may have something. So those are some of the general things to think about when you have a subpoena. Bear in mind, again, if you fail to respond to the subpoena, you could be looking at contempt of court. Nobody wants that, right? Nobody wants that. And if you need some help, if you've got a subpoena and you say, I just need to know my options. Should we attack it? Should I respond? Should I keep quiet? Is there a way to defend this copyright defense case, from a movie company, a book company, a software company? Give us a call. We've helped lots of companies across the United States handle federal copyright issues, such as litigation and handling subpoenas to the ISP, okay? So Attorney Steve Vonner, and I hope this has been good, general legal information for you, not legal advice. If you need legal advice, call. Make sure you call to discuss your FRCP case with your attorney, okay? Attorney Steve Vonner, thanks. Hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to share it on your social media networks. And also subscribe. Click that red V so you keep this good legal information coming to your inbox, okay? Have a great day. I got to get back to work. We'll talk to you again.